you win the game, and they come to your funeral, but it doesn't really matter because I don't care. Because what's real is what affects me, not you. And I don't care if I ever sit down, stand up, see me, let alone you. Again, thank you.
Hustle to the left, hustle to the right. Sit down, stand up, ready for a fight.
No more holograms this time. I've come to make a revelation.
Hustle to the left, hustle to the right.
Screw you and your rotten life.
Hustle to the left, hustle to the right. Sit down, stand up, hustle to the right. Hustle to the right. Sit down, stand up, ready for a fight. Hustle to the left, hustle to the right. Sit down, stand up, ready for a fight.
Hustle to the left, hustle to the right.
Sit down, stand up, ready for a fight.
Albatross not on my neck. Albatross not on my neck. Seeing how you fly, but now the tables turn. You are dead.
Albatross, not around my neck. Albatross, not around my neck. Sit down,
Greetings in the name of the Most High. Well, certainly there's some hiccups on the way to that big peace deal, but I'm not at all surprised. I don't know where I heard this, but I had heard a couple weeks ago that Saturday night was going to be the night of the bunker buster bombing. I told someone, I told Trish, I told a couple people, but didn't do a pot on it. But I still see in the future with Iran and the whole thing, I still see this peace deal that even extends to China, which is unusual to see in this day and age. I mean, obviously, because the logic would tell you pretty much the exact opposite on everything we're thinking about here. And that I'm not sure what's going to happen with the mullahs and Iran, if they're going to give up power or be replaced or have a some kind of a democratic republic of Iran take place. I don't think the U.S. will put in a puppet dictator like the Shah, which happened after another regime overthrow, regime change. No, I think Trump is focused on what got him elected, which is basically he's focused on domestic issues, especially the buildup of the economy, manufacturing, innovation in the USA, not farmed out, to other countries that are then tariffing us. The tariffs were simply a way of negotiating fair trade between countries around the world. That ultimately the idea was to drop the tariffs altogether, and then you'd have free trade. You know what I mean? For the exception of some of those goods and services that may have to be negotiated for some reason or another. So that was, but incredibly, the American public, too feeble and too uneducated to understand that, believed a bunch of gossip and lies about the fact that the tariffs are used to impose this authoritarian dictatorship of Trump. And if that were the case, he would have never gone along with, he would have never gone along with the court decisions and things like that, going by the rule of law, trying to get the big, beautiful bill passed. He just started passing things and arresting people that opposed him, which he didn't do. So they lied about that, and they continue to lie. But the lying is working out because the lying is getting them numbers of stupid people lining up to become part of the Democrat Party. The reason they're lining up is based on lies, but they're not educated. They don't know they just don't know anything. They can't, their brains don't function. So they line up, oh, I don't want an authoritarian Cheeto in charge. I'm against that. Yeah, no kings. Yeah, baby, and it's all based on lies. So I watch, but I've seen this before. The midterms in 2018 went to the Democrats based on lies. We thought as much. At this point, I have to call it for the Democrats. They have done a very good job at lying about convincing the public that it's an authoritarian regime that doesn't care about people, that is not building up the economy of the U.S., but destroying the economy of the U.S. for the purpose of being a dictator to ruin everything in the world. And that, your vote should go to Jasmine Crockett or AOC or one of these other luminaries. If that's what you do, America, I have nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? I will give you my passport, my citizenship. I will give you everything, because you and I can't really, we're not the same species. The species I come from have the ability to reason, have the ability to work out, peace deals, coexist even if you don't believe what the other guy believes, and vice versa, and have the capability of love and empathy, which are things that apparently, do not go along with people that want to burn down cities and parade around with foreign flags and, just basically complain from the beginning and the end. I heard a funny joke the other day that, and mind you, I'm no Republican. I'm not going to be joining the Republican Party at this point because it has got too many traitors in it. There's too many Democrats in the Republican Party. I just put it that way. There's too many, meaning people that are just there with a mask on, but they're really communists, And I told you I've been fighting communism since I was a boy, pretty much, because I realized that and Satanism, and then I saw the connection between Satanism and communism, and how they blend together to create a forced conformity that involves things that people are ashamed about, that involve, sex and dirty sex and, just ugly things that you wouldn't want the public to know about you, in order to keep people in line, but with the promise of being able to have some kind of a career, some kind of a paycheck. But that paycheck becomes very hollow when you become senile and your family doesn't care about you and they shuffle you off to an old folks home. But they'll take that paycheck and they'll lavish themselves with whatever they've got left. Meanwhile, you're gone and you can't speak for yourself, and you're getting spit on every day by people that got to change your diapers, and you've had enough. And I'd say, was it worth it? And some of these people actually believe it is worth it, that it's really the way that that Lucifer is really love. And so the way of the world, which remains secret for some reason. Do you know why it's secret? I don't know why. It's an open secret. But why that? In other words, there's a secret world you can join where all your wishes will come true. Roll up for the magical mystery tour, and so it remains a shh, right? And judges and courts will go along with it. You could kill somebody, but if you're connected with it, they'll let you go. It is, I guess we could just call it corruption. A club of corruption, or what the Bible says, it's a cabal or a group that has a collective purse. That's it. That's Satan. That's Satanism. That's Marxism, which is the political embodiment of Satanism is Marxism. Top-down authority, authoritarians at the top take all the money, people left with nothing to starve in the streets, and basically anyone that speaks against the regime is executed forthwith. So there is no opposition. And if they feel there is an opposition somewhere or there's a group somewhere, they will just kill them all. That is, unacceptable, and we're barely holding on to that standard. So, I say hallelujah to a peace deal. I know Trump's heart, and I think the reason that I had seen peace before, and that doesn't preclude a strike to take out nukes and all that. That doesn't mean that's not going to happen. It just means we're not here to get into this war. And so that's what I'm saying to you, and that's what I've been saying to you. But this peace thing extends, I see it like paint on a two-dimensional picture of the globe. It extends all the way through Europe and the Middle East, all the way to China. All the way to China. That China would be involved in this peace. And I think this has to do with the fourth turning. It has to do with the new industrial revolution. It has to do with new innovation that is so powerful and so economically satisfying and enriching that people are willing to drop their prideful differences between each other long enough to make a buck. And I think that's, the love of money is one of the universal sins in the Bible. Not money itself, or Solomon would have been damned from the beginning, but the love, the idolizing, the worship of money is the root of all evil. And plenty of people do worship it. In America, you got more billionaires than any time before in history, they all worship it, right? It's pretty clear that, worshiping money, worshiping Lucifer, worshiping, who knows what all the secret societies, what kind of credit they're taking for it. Nobody should take credit for this, bunker buster, play of Trump's, because it was basically given to him through intel and through prayer. He got it through, God's leading. Nothing that big can happen that would affect that many people without the hand of God on it. Otherwise, it would just spin out of control and kill billions, and we wouldn't even be here right now if it weren't for God. But people are too stupid to figure that out. You know what I mean? You have to laugh at them. You did all this on your own. His mama says, you didn't do that. You had to have help. Yeah, you had help, all right. Not necessarily from other people, but you had help. And beginning with the idea of what it was. So basically, the other thing is so many Democrats are on the side of this, this blow to Iranians' nuclear program, and they're not making themselves heard. They're making it like this partisan thing of MAGA versus Republicans and insider versus insider and R versus R, civil war within the Republican Party. Rand Paul is going to go ahead and impeach Trump along with AOC, and they're going to work together to impeach Trump over the fact that he saved the world. He could save the world of a nuclear holocaust, and he would be thrown in jail for doing it. Only in a fucking America, where stupidity reigns, where stupidity is supreme, where stupidity is God. Only here could it be so easy. Like taking candy from the proverbial baby. Anyway, it's a thankless job. If you save the world, they would kill you. Jesus came and saved the world. He saved the world. Jesus saved the world, whether they knew it or not. And they killed him. Jesus saved the world. I guess they killed him in the form of, he revealed himself as the King of Kings. He revealed himself as the great I am. He revealed himself as God in his incarnation. And they killed him knowing that they would have sacrificed God on behalf of sinners. And they did it anyway, figuring that it couldn't be true. And then realizing when he rose again, a lot of people say, well, I didn't see him rise again. Well, but the historical record is so accurate of Jesus' life and teachings, and just the record, especially through the last 2 weeks of Jesus' life. The record is so clear that there's never been a more clear historical record, and every single thing is fulfilled. And so that one little detail of, Jesus died on the cross, and when they rolled the stone away from the tomb, he wasn't there. He wasn't just alive. He wasn't there. He was out fishing. He was showing the disciples, yeah, put your net right there and take all the fish you want. Let's have a shindig on the beach with fish and bread, whatever, But most people don't believe that. I would say 90% of the people don't believe that. They think it's a fairy tale. And if they believe it's a fairy tale, they shouldn't believe in Jesus. They shouldn't go to church. What are you doing in church? Get the fuck out of there. That's for people that believe, idiot. Not for people like you. Go sit there and watch your soap opera the rest of your life. Good. Hope you enjoy it. No, seriously, I would kick out the entire congregation. This is why I'm not a pastor. I would go the other way. I would say, please don't tithe here if you don't believe. Do not give me any money. Um, don't worry about me on Substack. The amount of money I have pledged me. I tell people don't do it, but people do. And thank you very much. Out of the kindness of their hearts, they do donate to help to keep the show going. The important thing will be after I'm gone. If you want to keep the show going, you're going to have to arrange that. To create some because. Well, let me give you an example. I don't have a good record. I think a lot of I'm not sure how far back my record actually goes. It used to go back to 2003, 2002 of just lots and lots of Zeph reports, And, I noticed that I was looking for the song Albatross, which is something I did. And you should see the video that Pia did of it. It's very, very good. Very well. I like it. And even though it's me and I could be very critical, I know it's me doing a video. So I'm on video. And basically it was kind of a breakthrough song for me. I mean, I remember making it and Richard Keltner keeps talking to me about the wonderful days of Cubase. I don't know how many of you remember that. Remember Cubase? It was like another digital audio workstation, where you could create. Anyway, never mind. So I did. It was a mess. It was things all over the floor, microphones all over the place. I had an audio interface by Motu, I think Motu, and I was using a regular condenser mic, no big deal. And I mainly had my keyboard up on the desk, and so I was really into keyboards is my main thing. So here I am, kind of composing and recording and whatever. And I remember the date it was from 2012, so it's from a while back, and it represented a breakthrough for me because it's like that's when I became very conscious of the people that are dead who cast curses on me, hatred on me, tried to make me stumble, block me from opportunities. That's one of the things that really I hated about my life was how many opportunities were blocked because of what other people did to me. It was very hard for me to not just take on the role of a victim and just be a victim, and just blame the world for my troubles. Because they, ruined my so-called reputation. I couldn't pass an interview. I could a lot of things just it didn't work, and so therefore I was, missed out on many years, well, a whole lifetime full of opportunities gone because people decided that they're going to protect the secret that everybody knows anyway. We could just freeze on that point. They were going to protect the secret that everybody already knows anyway. They're going to protect the secret that everybody already knows anyway. They're going to make sure they did their society duty, making sure that society remains strong and clean and lovely and filled with opportunity for the right people. Not the wrong people, but the right people. The people that agree to bow and consent. And the people that agree to that which is in them isn't worth anything. And fork it over in exchange for a lovely life here on the lovely earth where bunker busters are going off in the background, but nary a worry and nary even a sound. Yes. And then as you get older, how do you feel now? I feel great, by the way. I feel absolutely wonderful. I'm still working on, trying to, like I did a song about, maybe a few years back about what people did to me. It's like, if he ever finds out what we did to him, he's going to kill us all. And then the idea of killing really excited me for a while. But then I realized, of course, killing just begets killing. Slander begets slander. Stuffing it down, though, the need to kill somebody or hurt somebody real bad, that doesn't work either. I remember I had a dream, and I was instructing these guys on how to kill these prisoners who were up against the wall. And this one guy just couldn't seem to stick the sword through the heart. It was like halfway hanging out, and the guy was panicking that he was going to be killed. And I said, so I looked at him, and I actually just one-handed it. I just like, and straight into the guy's heart, complete success. And I go, is it that fucking hard? Huh? Is that really hard to do? And then, I was like a badass drill sergeant type. And that was an interesting dream. The idea that people were doing a half-assed job at killing people. So, if I saw a war right now with my feeling about death is, I'd probably cheer it on a little bit. You know what I mean? I'd be a little bit excited. I don't think I would be in sorrow if this were all to end. I suppose I'd be in sorrow for the kids, but then again, my life was wrecked from kid on, meaning the opportunities were not there. See, opportunities become a pathway of life. And if you don't have any opportunities, then you're just basically homeless on the street with nothing. And of course, I'm not putting those people down. I understand that can happen to anybody at any time, and there's no one is exempt. But if you don't have any opportunities, that's kind of where it leads. If you blame the world as the oppressor, and you're the victim, and the world is the accuser, the oppressor, the dominator, the attacker, the saboteur. If that's what you're doing, because you were gang stalked and you were put in a hospital, and then they said you're schizophrenic because you're hearing voices. Well, your life right now is ruined. And yes, they ruined it. It's in your chart. Thorazine, Zoloft, Xanax, Mellaril, whatever, antipsychotic medication and heavy tranquilizers, so that you'll not, if he ever finds out what we did to him, meaning all the gaslighting that happened in high school, that he was unaware that was happening to him, and then he just ended up being canned into the mental hospital. If he ever finds out what we did to him, he'll kill us all. And what they did to him, whoever it is, it's what they do to everybody. So how could your parents subject you to that? Because if they don't, they lose their position and quite possibly their paycheck. So they do the dirty deed. Then they accept the accolades of society and go forward. But if Junior ever tries to come home barefoot, ragtag, beat up from being on the streets, and says, "Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. I'm sorry for what happened, but I'm going to be a good boy now." It's the biggest heartbreaker in the world. That's cause to blow the whole fucking thing to hell right there. The whole thing is negated. Every life on earth negated. Unimportant. Nothing. Because of that one thing. And yet people keep going on, "Well, I'm living in my bubble." Yeah, well, we hope that bubble bursts, buddy. We hope one day you wake up and you realize how hopeless your situation really is and always has been. And join the rest of us. Join the rest of the world who doesn't live in a ivory tower or a glass bubble somewhere, who sees the lack of mobility, the lack of satiation, or rather the return of starvation, who sees the lack of civility and rather the sword, who sees the lack of law and order and trafficking and organ harvesting, who sees the lack, who sees the way it really works, who sees every corporation involved in these little nefarious enterprises, and yet they join up and take the paycheck anyway. They take the kids to Disney World to soothe it over. Then maybe they go out to a strip club in Orlando and try to drink down the rest or lust it down. And when that doesn't work, they wind up in the drunk tank in the jail, in the who's cow. And then after that, they get out and they go home. "Honey, I don't love you anymore. Kids, take care of your mother. God is calling me to the trail, barefoot and broke. And I'll see you later." Well, finally exercising. Blow out the pipes a little bit. I don't know, blow out the pipes. A little truth never hurt anyone, right? Or did it? Anyway, so back to Albatross. I was coming around and I digressed and now I'm back. Okay. So everything, I haven't lost it yet. So I did a little video yesterday where I just videotaped myself kind of lip syncing the lyrics. And it was a very important track for me because it represented, the death of my mother, I think, and therefore the whole family. And, the line ended. Not quite, because my daughter was still alive. And we carried on for a while, but it represented the death of 2012. It was the death of a lot of things, but it was the death of in a way, it was the death of me dying. It was me dying in a way. And then music was coming in and I was rocking out to Albatross. So I was really playing up I was playing a polysynth and really getting into the chords, like two-handed chords that I had to find. I don't even know what the name of them are, just what sounded good, and then it was like a rebel yell. So we looked for it and I went to Podbean, and this was my story where we left off, and we couldn't find it. There's a place for it, said Albatross, but it wasn't there. And I looked around the web and it wasn't there. And, folks, the last time I looked on the web for Albatross, it was a lot of my tracks, they were all over the place. A lot of tracks they were all over the place. And now we can't find any. It's like they've scrubbed me and they're scrubbing me. And they try to treat me as invisible. And they've abused me. They've abused me terribly. But how can I fight back? I mean, without killing someone. You know what I mean? There's really no way. What, shouting, filing a lawsuit, you lost, internet's supposed to be forever. Well, not for me. Basically, everything I've done is just slips away. I mean, it's somewhere now, but, it's like I say, in time, things slip away. That's a good example, though, of it was an iconic song because it represented a kind of turn into music production, because I've been at it a few years already, and then I had that as kind of a breakthrough of really opening up, and seeing how little inspirations could become big tracks, and big ideas could become little tracks, and just like the whole mystery of it was starting to unfold to me at that time. And then by 2015. 2016, I was doing a lot of tracks. I had a MacBook Pro I was carrying around with a professional interface in my RV at the time that I had, and we would just drive. We use the RV instead of a hotel, with the dog and all that. Enjoyed driving around in it, and then I eventually I'm still RVing, but I got in an accident, and so now I'm out of RVing until I get that fixed. And even if I get it fixed, I still can't sell it because I'm upside down. And so I guess I'll keep it. That's I sideswiped it on my gate, and the innocent thing. It wasn't like some big collision, but it's it's a year of rehab and bills and a lot of unfair things. But if I tell the insurance company, then I'm wrecked. So I'm stuck in this, lose this money loss situation. And it's really a drag. But I guess my message to people is, so don't buy one of these things if you can't handle, paying for the damage, any kind of collision damage, because otherwise, it won't work out. The only way it works out for me is if I get it fixed up and I jump in it, take Trish and the dog, jump in it, and just get my turn it into a studio. Yay! And see, she likes that. she's a big fan of that one. And then just the sin would be not putting miles on it. So put as many miles on it as you can. You put 100 or 200,000 miles on it, and just see everything you can, before you die, just like see go up to the Canadian border and maybe drive up to Alaska, look at Oregon and the Washington coast and up the River Gorge at Columbia River Gorge, and look at Flathead Lake in Montana. And I know a great place for RVs there. I just never been there. It's the biggest lake, I think, in North America, or one of them. And I think the water is cold, though. And just like do whatever I can do to be as unproductive as possible. But I'm still, even when I was traveling before, I always had the podcast, it always hurts me not to. I just feel like it's kind of like a Dear Diary, because I don't know who I'm talking to out there. But I'm wish you all well. I'm assuming you're all kindred spirits, and like when I yell, you're yelling. When I'm crying, you're crying. And what they did in the hospital, I talked to Larry Wade Carroll, the great award-winning director, Larry Wade Carroll, and I was telling him about this, the hospital, and about how they cut off my oxygen when I came out of the OR. And when I tried to alert them, but I was drugged because I couldn't move, to alert them that I was going into cardiac arrest and I was going to die because they wouldn't because the fucking nurse had it turned off. And then finally, Trish came in, was making a big noise, and finally the anesthesiologist said, "Hey, why don't you let Zeph try to breathe on his own, see if he can do it?" And took the mask off, and I was breathing. Saved my life. Trish did right there. But I fantasized about going back there, taking care of business. You know what I mean? That was a hit. And why? Because the whole place is run by witches. You know, the whole hospital in Albuquerque is run by fucking witches. And they mess with my IV. They put stuff in there that was conflicting, where I had my rash breakout. I had to put in steroids. They did a lot of things, including secret MRIs and things that were never approved of or signed for, including a lung operation, which maybe didn't save my life, you know. And all I know is they took a lot of life away from me. Now, I'm coming back now, but they it's like being shot up at a mall, you know, taking about 15, AR-15 rounds or something. Yeah. And, but you know, you guys, I think you laugh when I laugh, you cry when I cry, you know, you can relate. I'm good at giving you images of, you know, how things are or things I'm thinking about. And sometimes when I listen to a podcast, somebody I don't even know, if he can communicate well and we're connecting on that level, there's nothing more I don't have to see things the way he does or she does exactly. But if there's a communication there, I cherish that. And then I listen, you know, but it's I was listening to Alex Jones the other day, wanted to get his take on the, you know, on the sort of threat of taking Iran's nukes out. And it was just on and on and on. Please don't do it. Don't bomb it. We're not bombing. We're not going to bomb. No bombing. And it'll turn into a disaster or whatever. And I can understand why he was saying those things, to try to warn the president, don't get involved in something. But seriously, they treat the president like a baby. He's not a baby. He's an adult, grown, mature, increasingly spiritually aware and mature man. And he is a force to be reckoned with. And you don't just tell him, sir, don't bomb here, don't bomb there. He's going to do what he's going to do. You try to find out, sir, what is the protocol? What are you up to? What are you thinking? And whether I agree with you or not doesn't matter. You're the commander in chief. And it's either going to go that way, or we're going to just have chaos and everybody's an expert and everyone's fucked. You know what I mean? Or there's going to be a command structure. I'm all fine. Throw it all away. That's fine. Riot, kill, 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 kill. Great. I love watching everyone die. Wonderful. Die, 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 die. Or is there an order? Is there a principle? A commander in chief? A representative government? A republic? A need for peace? A need for negotiation? You know, is like, I would say the two things the president's got to do is, number one, you know, and this is what I hope, and I'm not telling him what to do, but one thing I would do if I were him would be to smooth over I know they're not ever going to forgive him. They're going to call him a racist till the day he dies, but I would try to do something to mollify the people's paranoia about being hauled off if they're like, they've been here for a couple of generations and then ICE comes to haul them off and send them to an El Salvador prison, even though they didn't do anything wrong. They're guilty of working at a job and paying taxes. Okay, so that's the take, you know, the Democrats are taking. I would do everything I could do beginning today to bring the truth to that, you know, that what they're looking for is, you know, criminals. And also at the same time, I would be talking about introducing legislation that would make would streamline the immigration process. So it didn't take millions of dollars and years off someone's life that they could get going, and if they have any kind of merit or skill or whatever, they get going right away on day one. I would streamline it and make sure people knew I was working on it, that I cared about them, that I'm not just trying to lock people up. And then the other thing would be about the war. They're already singing his praises. They're already, saying that Trump just basically avoided World War III. And basically, Trump saves the world and the world throws it. And now they've started impeachment proceedings. So I don't think people here will ever learn. I think when complaining is a very powerful thing. And people in America love to complain. It's like embarrassing. I have to apologize for this country. With so much opportunity and so much security and so much support from everywhere, that this is undoubtedly the greatest country to live in terms of opportunity, or even starting over again. Certainly I found a way to start over again, and I've had a little life, not a big life, but I've had a little life, thanks to people not holding a vendetta against me for having been, some sort of misfit, which I didn't intend, which I didn't even know I was. So I would imagine, in the time Trump has left, leading up to the midterms at this point, got to call it for the Democrats. I know that a lot of you Republican types are going to be conservatives who are upset with that. If you're upset with that, then get your fanny to work, and start explaining the reason you're going to lose, ... So let's start with number one, is public relations on the immigration issue. That's number one, numero uno. Yes, you mean the people would rather see these criminals go free? It's not the criminals. They're envisioning Trump picking them up because they don't like Trump. See, it's not the criminal, but you don't understand. There's a disconnect there. So I work on that day one, and the next thing I would do is I'd work on the big beautiful bill they want to do, and the crypto, and getting back to the manufacturing, working out the tariffs, getting the trade deals done, bring the economy way up out of depression, bring the interest rates down, make it so anybody can come here, have a house, have a family, make a job, get good wages, whatever. That's what he was trying to do. So I would say those two things would be the thing to focus on: immigration and domestic economy. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to have AOC running the show. No, don't blame me. I called the same thing in 2018, remember? In 2017, I said, if you don't do something about this voting, you are going to lose, Mr. President, and they're going to then impeach you. And he lost, and they impeached him, remember? And then we had, trying to throw him in jail for 500 years, and then you had the whole fake Biden thing, and taking him off the ballot, and then years of some sort of senile, hospice patient wandering around, not even knowing where he is, using an auto pen to sign all his deals, which were all basically communist, and and then they lost. But by the same measure, the Republicans will lose, and will lose. Right now, the Republicans are slated to lose big time. The House, and I'll just say it, the House and the Senate, and on their way to losing the presidency. And unless you people fucking wake up, if you people don't wake up, it's on you. You don't have a victory right now. You have a public relations disaster even if it's based on the Democrats' lies. You have a public relations disaster in the field of immigration, illegal immigration, ICE, all that. You have your house is on fire there. Two, people haven't seen anything with the economy enough. The gas prices came down, groceries, fine, but they need to see plants being built. People committing to trillions of dollars. Well, where's that? Where are they? That needs to be followed up on. Let me see if Honda is building that new plant. Let me see if BMW is building that new plant. Let me see some evidence that there's going to be a good. Let me see how much money is being brought in. What does that mean for the national debt? Let's see whatever happened to Doge. Are we keeping Doge or not keeping Doge? If we're not keeping Doge, that should be explained. Otherwise, it looks flaky as hell. So if get the trade deals straightened out with the tariffs. England is worked out. England is done. It's free trade. Canada is on the verge of getting done. It'll be free trade. And there'll be a little bit of give and take on individual things, but basically work the deals out, get them done, get them signed. And that would make America a very powerful country, make people very wealthy, make people very inspired to come here, and then allow people to come here based on a streamlined basis, that you're doing something to speed that up and make that and make it not just for people with money. I mean, right now, if you've got $5 million, you can always buy a gold card, right? And then you can come and go as you please. Okay, so that's fine for the billionaires, but for the little people, they need a way to sign the paper. Sign up. And if they have a skill, if they don't have a skill, a lot of these corporations coming in are willing to train people, and they'd rather train them their own way rather than having them go to a trade school. Train them. Get it going and get the PR on it going. Because unless you've got that going, and you can build on this, taking the Iran nuke thing out, it's not in Trump's nature to make it a big war. That's not what people miss. If you don't understand Trump, you go, he's going to get us into a big war. No, you're getting us in a big war with your stupid mouth, because you haven't taken 5 minutes to figure out who the man is and what he's about. He's not a warmonger, right? He wants to do business, but he has a lot of opposition. He has a lot of opposition for using ICE and grabbing illegals and taking them away, because the Democrats made it a big deal because they lied and people believed the lies. They believed the lies for the 2018 midterms. The people believed all the Democrats' lies. And then you got what you got. And it's going to happen all over again, beginning next year. Unless, and I'm just waiting. Unless and until you get busy. That's PR. That would take a gargantuan PR to make sure. Right now, people think children are being separated and put in cages. Regular working people that have caused no harm and have no record are being rounded up by ICE and being taken down to the El Salvadoran prison. Okay. Start right there. If you don't address that, you will lose. And so I'm not going to sit back and cry about it. I'm just going to go, they were warned. You will lose. And, the idea of putting God first in this bombing and different things, God first has to be in everything, not America first. It's God first, and America will fall in place. God first. And that's what's needed to clear up the unfortunate, child predators and psychopaths that are preying upon everybody and feasting on everybody's demise. So, that's basically what it's going to take. It's just going to take, listen, if you get this to, I'm sure a guy like Charlie Kirk understands, you need, or even Bill Maher, even Joe Rogan, get the information to these people. If you don't, start turning it around PR wise. If you don't address the Democrat lies about Trump being authoritarian and a dictator and, rounding people up because he likes to or whatever, if you don't arrest that, they will win and win big. And at that point, well, I'm just ready to sail away, because at that point, I think I got to stick a fork in it. There's no hope for America then. America, my final prediction, America will never come back if that's the case, ever again. It'll certainly be the reason America is not in the Bible is because of the midterms in 2026. November 2026. It can be turned around, but like in 2016, 2017, people weren't willing to even move a little finger to ensure fair voting and everything else. They just let the left march and scream and burn down stuff. And eventually in 2020, it became a big riot. And then, of course, the Republicans were screwed. And then people then realized, after living with the Democrats and living with the no policies and living with, bad leadership, they realized they've been duped. Well, yes, the communists are good at duping you. They're going to dupe you into anything left because they want a leftist, globalist world order. And we want a representational republic by the people, for the people, to help people to, achieve their goal, their dream, whatever it is they came to Earth to do. And not to have just a bunch of government red tape in the way that you have to, suck off half the Politburo in order to get a permit to build a, an outhouse. I just, and the other prediction is leading up to the midterms will be a very good economy that will help. I believe there will be a peace deal in place. I do believe a lot of stuff's going to get cleaned up for those midterms. And they're hoping that's enough PR. It's not. Right now, people are ready to storm the White House. They're ready to storm the White House in total anger and burn it to the ground. You go, well, wait a sec. We just made the world a safer place. We've got, a lot of great things happening. What? No, Orange Man bad, go down. They don't care. They're ready to do the film Civil War right now and storm the White House and kill the president. They're ready right now. And the more that he wins, the more that he brings world peace, let's say with his bunker operation, the more that he succeeds in battling down the prices of big pharma, the more he succeeds in taking care of entitlements like Social Security and Medicare and those kind of things that people really rely on. The more success he has, the more they want to kill him. It's this weird inverse ratio, that how did that go like that's going this way. No, this is going, well, that's going this way. This is going this way. So success of Trump on the right, my right, this, and the reality of hatred against Trump like this. The more the success, the more hatred. The more the success, the more hatred. The more the success, the more hatred. The more success of Trump, the more hatred of Trump. I don't understand it. I guess, the the mental illness, talking about a new category in the DSM-4, 5, or 6, whatever it is. There is a mental illness called hatred, where it's basically delusion and paranoia is what it is. And there's already a diagnosis for that. Paranoid psychosis. TDS is paranoid psychosis. And if left untreated and unchecked, can grow into, especially when it connects with others, it can grow into a huge wall of violence. Okay. And with that, I'm going to bid you shalom. I wish I could do more. I wish I could do better. I hope this made you feel better. I've felt terrible the last few days. I've had been detoxing and trying to get my food right. And I got this juicer thing going that's really pretty cool. I'm getting some really good nutrients and supplements. I'm trying to really focus in on that kind of stuff. And I feel much stronger. I'm not sure. You know what? It's funny. Usually a day like this, I'd have to have a nap right now. And I'm not, Trish, I'm not feeling that nap.
That is so cool, man.
What do you think about that?
I think the magic ingredient is the mousse I've been giving you.
She's been stuffing me with liver pate, and then I've been taking grass-fed beef liver capsules that are the highest quality.
And I think the juice, all the nutrients in the juices we've been doing.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting till I
shoot.
broke that old juicer and you had to buy a new one.
If
You
I
got the best one.
Yeah,
You got the Prebo of juicers.
I bought an expensive juicer called the Kuvings, and it's very delicate, made of plastic. You got to be careful; you could break it.
Yeah.
But I know they have a parts thing. But what it does is it masticates, so it's a cold pressed juicer. But the hopper is huge, and it basically cuts all your produce up and sends it through the strainer. So you can put as much stuff as you want in there, spinach and apples, and it peels the apples for
We
you.
don't have any chickens yet. We could give all the scraps to
The chickens?
yeah.
What scraps?
You know, the stuff that comes out as unusable or juice.
Well, it's invaluable. Yesterday was more of a green juice, really green. Today was more of a fruit juice, kind of using what the fruits we had left. It's amazing how far your produce and fruit stretches.
Yeah.
Usually we'd be throwing stuff out,
I
and
love that spinach, celery, carrots.
yeah, spinach, celery, carrots. Spinach really feels good, and that's a high source of iron. Tuna is a high source of iron in terms of meat, protein. But I think the highest form of iron is liver pate,
Yeah.
and that's pure liver.
I just keep stuff.
But it's nice, but it tastes nice. It's not like you're eating. There's nothing wrong with eating beef liver, but a pate tastes better. I know it's got more ingredients in it, but it does about the same thing. Like I said, usually I'm out for an hour and a half right now, and then I'm back, and that's been me having to battle anemia that the hospital gave me. And they apologized as they put the AB blood into my vein. I had to check to make sure it said AB, because that's a good way to die if it isn't. Because I have a rare blood type, I may be negative, but it was AB. And negative or positive will work
I
with
would
AB.
disown that anemia, just disown
It's not my anemia.
it.
No, I disown it. Well, right now I'm not feeling it.
Hallelujah.
So, but I do need to strengthen in other ways so I can, I'm thinking, I want to take it to the next level, but, to that I need a trainer and all that. So I'm willing to see if this old carcass, if I could take the old, the old car and whip it into shape one last time.
Amen.
One last race, folks. What do you think? Okay. Well, I'll see you next time. We love you. Praying for you. And this is Zeph Daniel of the Zeph Report. And until we meet again, Auf Wiedersehen.
Why did they make it so difficult?
Can you not see it?
Well, that's better now.
There must be some way out of this.
It's better now.
It's much better now.
Better now.
It's much better now.
Yeah.
I don't know why you thought you would keep on. Now that everybody knows, from your head down to your toes, you really did wrong to lock me up in the asylum. You knew I'd get out one day. Yeah. You knew I was coming after you. You knew one day I'd settle the score. I don't know why it's so quiet here, but yeah, you done me. Solitary confinement is not meant for me. The Thorazine and all medication made me into a zombie. I don't know if I'll ever get over it. I use my psychic power to track you down, and I tracked you down. I tracked you down. You seem to think that I won't ever come back, but now I'm. That was me you waved to on Sunset. I saw you there. Some old BMW. Been lighting with you, going to check on your mom's house. Don't think that I forgot for 1 minute how you delivered me up to Satan. And I did object because I'm not just like you. I have a point of view. You have no right over my soul. You have no right. I know you're mind controlled and your soul is gone. I know you're just a servant of darkness. Sexy, you're stupid.
up to Satan. You really did wrong to lock me up in the asylum. You knew I'd get out one day. You knew I was coming after you. You knew one day I'd settle the score.